Oh, yeah, baby. We are live, episode number 88 of the Shant and Adi podcast. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Not too great. Not too great. Just met with my not my dentist, another terrible person, but my CPA. I did my taxes, so it didn't turn out too well. Oh, by
You
the
felt
way,
like a dentist?
yeah, just getting drilled the whole time. I'm pulling up a PowerPoint on my computers, and it's just super. It's not loading. So, like, if I freeze, it's because I'm trying to pull up a PowerPoint.
All right, well, while you're doing, I guess, the high school project, I'm getting a surgery done on Friday morning. Speaking
For
of
what?
dentists, I'm getting a deviated septum
Oh
fixed.
yeah, nice.
Kind of excited. Trying to stay positive.
Is this your first one, huh?
No, it's my second surgery that I've ever had in my life.
No, first deviate. I've had two deviated septum surgeries. That's why
How is
I
that
asked.
possible?
They got to do another one.
When did you have these surgeries done?
The John Etzion knows, bro. It's freaking.
Fucked, man. Were yours broken at some point?
I broke it. Then they tried to, but mine always. I always had a deviated septum. Once I broke it, it's like, okay, cool. Well, now we could fix it. Did the surgery, didn't work. I went to a specialist in New York, Presbyterian Hospital, top specialist. He did it, couldn't get it. So like he had to break it and put it back together. So they got to do another surgery where they break it, put it back together. But I'm like, I'm all set, man. I'll just live with it.
So right now, how's your breathing?
It dries up. Doesn't I don't breathe too well all the time, and my nose really dries up pretty quick.
So right now, if you were to breathe normally, is your baseline just from your mouth?
Yeah.
All right. So this can cause anxiety, a lot of anxiety without you even realizing
Hmm.
how bad it is, especially if you're now lifting and doing all that stuff. I can't imagine how it was when you were playing basketball. Were you breathing out of your ass? What was that like? Can you tell us a little bit about this?
I don't know. I got used to it. I guess I trained like this my whole life, so I got used to it, man.
Biologically, physiologically, I don't think you can get used to that. This is why I'm having this surgery. I'm literally panting and I don't even smoke anymore. I literally can't breathe. I like there's
Wow.
my dad just had this surgery 3 weeks ago and he's
How's he
fired up.
doing?
He's good. He's
The recovery is terrible, though. That's why I don't want to do it. I'm just over the recovery. I don't know if it's better now. This was like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, like 10 years ago, more. You got to put stuff in your nose like for a week. And it's just, I'm
Yeah,
all
I'm looking
set.
forward to it. I'm very, very excited
Can we do
about
the
it.
podcast the day after your surgery?
Oh shit, that's right. I think we should be okay. Worst case, I'll just have some shit in my nose and we'll just, you know, we'll play it by nose. Really, really excited about this surgery though, because I can't tell you how helpful it's gonna be in running and all that stuff. Especially as some of you might know, I have a decent anxiety issue to the point
Uh,
where any extra oxygen coming in would be massively helpful. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think I can cope with the recovery. Um, yeah. With that being said, uh, Sean, I am in the market for another house,
hmm.
and there's a lot of shit happening out of fear for getting shadow banned and possibly actually banned on YouTube without actually naming the actual conflict taking place right now and sort of the chip shortage and all this other stuff. Can you explain the housing market right now? How that's how
Well,
that's
the conflict isn't really affecting much in the real estate market, right? Uh, in our real estate market, the one thing it did do, so rates were going up. right? Interest rates were going up. So when you got your house, what was your interest rate?
3.75.
That's pretty high.
At the time, it was low because I think I dropped from 4.75.
Why is it so high? Whatever. We'll talk about that another time.
What? How low did it go just recently? 2.25 or 2.75? Just
No,
last year?
like high twos. But when did you buy? How long ago is this?
Right before the P word.
Okay. It's been that long. Jesus. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was like okay.
No, my credit is excellent. I would have qualified for the 2.75.
P word.
I'm feeling good
Something
today.
happened in 2020. We're
The
trying.
event.
Yeah, some event, major event. We're trying to be better. I feel like some stuff we've mentioned in the past has gotten us. Some stuff has been taken down, or what? I don't know.
Definitely censored. It's
Yeah, there's
okay.
no such thing as censorship in America. We're not being canceled.
People
yet.
make mistakes. Thank you
We
for
learned.
another opportunity at this.
Thank you, Mr.
Learning.
Biden, for giving us another chance. So,
you know what pisses me off about Biden is the fact that all these presidents haven't recognized the Armenian genocide, and he's known for not being able to speak properly, and he recognized the Armenian genocide. It's almost like discrediting the fact that he recognized it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's saying anyway.
it's like, oh, if he said it, it's not. Yeah, it's like not true. He said it.
It drives me nuts, man.
Like out of all the people, like him.
Like they're just looking at him like he doesn't know what he's saying, and it's like, no, he knows what he's saying. He wrote it down. Fuck.
Okay, I'm trying to. So, okay.
Tell us. Sorry about that. Tell us a little bit about the real estate market, man. There's so many conflicting things happening, so many bullshit artists, and that's sort of the direction that I wanted to take this podcast in tonight. Is discussing Facebook posts and like Instagram posts about they put these
clickbait.
Infographics on
Clickbait, right. Yeah.
It's a great time to buy right now because clearly it's always a great time.
Yeah, and it's a great time to sell too. I knew one realtor, and we'll get into this. He said, "Oh, the market's crazy. It's the best time to sell. You got to sell. You got to sell. Oh, by the way, if you guys are looking to buy, it's a great time to buy too." I'm like,
yeah, that's how the law works, right? Supply and demand. It's just equal right now. That doesn't work.
Speaking of supply and demand, okay. So interest rates were below 3, right? They got to, now they've shot up above 4.
Are we at above 4 right now? Fuck.
It was, but once the war started in that country that we can't speak about, it dipped a little bit. Now, why did it dip? So interest rates have to do with the banks lending money and all this stuff, right? So the government has had the interest rates at a really low number because they know once they raise it, inflate, like they couldn't stop. And how do I explain it? It has to do with inflation. Okay. So now what they realize is that inflation just keeps going. So they're going to have to slow down the rates because people are getting, like with the whole gas situation, people I think are complaining because when inflation wasn't happening during the pandemic, the P word, I mean, because rates were so low. So like the economy was still, it was like a Band-Aid, put the rates low, inflation won't go high. But they couldn't keep that. That's not sustainable. So they had to let the rates go up. But it went up pretty fast, which is not a good thing. And inflation went up. Now it's at 7% inflation. It's actually more, but they recorded at 7%. Now, with the war happening and gas situation, I think they're trying to slow down the rates again to like not have inflation go crazy because of midterms and all this stuff. Now, what does that have to do with the housing market? Okay. I'm going to share my screen. And this is very impromptu. Can you see my screen, Adi?
I can.
Okay. Oops. Okay. So this is in the Phoenix, Arizona market. Okay. We have been, so this is a chart from 2001. You see 2001 here?
I do.
This shows supply and demand, and if it's a seller or a buyer's market. Since 2001, we have been 13 years in the seller market. Okay. So in 2005, we were a seller market. Supply was really low. This red thing is supply. Okay. See this red little line?
Mm-hmm.
So we were in a seller's market. The red line started going up. The supply started going up. We became a heavy buyer's market. Supply kept coming down, 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 down. Now we've been in a seller market. So we are at the lowest it's ever been as far as supply. You see that right here? Just the
Yeah.
lowest.
Wow.
Okay. Now, let's see. So we need, okay, this is another good one. This is active weekly listings, right? In 2018, which was still a seller's market, right? 2018, we had 16,000 active listings in a seller's market. This was still a seller's market in 2018. 2019 was 11,000 active listings. During the peak time, it started to go down. And right now, we have about 5,300 active homes in Arizona. Okay. 16,000 was low in Arizona in 2018. We're 3 times lower than that. So the demand, like our inventory, our supply, we're at like 48 to 5,200 active homes on the market. We need around 35 to 40,000 to be balanced, to not be a buyer's or seller market.
Can you tell us a little bit about how pricing has played into this? Have you been seeing prices stay relatively consistent given the market is now a lot lower because obviously cars have sort of a similar situation right now, but cars have become an extremely marked up commodity.
Yeah.
So how have houses adjusted accordingly?
So it's a great question.
Thank you.
Share my screen again.
Oh,
Do you see the screen?
I do.
So in 2020, January 2020, the median home price in Arizona was 290.
That's low.
Yes. Right now we're at 438,000. In
Fuck
1
me.
year,
Jesus
it
Christ.
jumped up 28%. So this time last year, we were at 340,000. The median sales price. We're 100,000 over the median sales price from a year ago. And we're supposed to be an affordable place to live.
I have a
Does that
question.
answer your question? Yeah.
I have another question. Do you, do you think that this has anything also to do, like, in your opinion, are you seeing less very affordable houses on the market because those people that own those very affordable houses can't afford to sell those very affordable houses right now? Do you think that not so much that the actual price of the house appreciated so much, but you're seeing more expensive houses getting sold?
So everything is, so that's another good question, right? And I'm trying to find,
because there's a lot less houses to establish a median selling price on, because you only have a third as many houses. So I'm wondering if the bulk of those houses are a little bit more on the upper end of the price spectrum to begin with. Because
Mhm.
a house can't appreciate two times, can it, in 2 years?
30%. Yeah, 30%, right? That's what it did. Uh, so, and I'll, so before, okay, so I can't share this one, but in 2016, okay, no, let's say 2015,
Hmm.
half the homes in Arizona were priced under $200,000.
That's so crazy, man. Didn't you move to Arizona in 2015?
2015, 20, yeah, and we didn't buy right, which we should have, right?
Don't
Um,
aren't you kicking yourself right now? Thinking to yourself you could have got like
yeah, sweet house for like nothing. So 200,000. So the median was probably like 200, right? So 2015, the cheap homes were 200,000. Like that was like what you could find under 200,000. You could find a nice home. Now that has moved to 400,000. Okay.
a lot.
So most people aren't moving because it's a couple things, right? They're like, yeah, I have all this equity. I have 200,000 in equity, but where am I going to go? So people are inclined not to sell, right? Um, does that make sense?
100%. a hundred
Now,
percent. And those that are trying to sell are probably trying to get a bigger house, from what it
yeah.
seems like.
Um, so look at this chart as far as like, is it a good time to buy? Okay. Because you're going to have to park your money. Let's say you have 100 grand that you're looking to spend, right? You have to look at your money as how can I get this 100 grand to outperform inflation, right? Because if you put 100 grand right now in the bank, it's worth $93,000 because of inflation,
Terrible.
right? You get that concept, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming. Okay. So this shows you real estate. Um, so you see this green little bars,
I do.
this
Yeah.
little right there, that's inflation, right? So it's usually like 3%, 4%, right? And then right now it's at 7%, which is pretty high. The blue is appreciation, real estate appreciation. This big blue one, not this
Oh
blue
wow.
line.
So just so those that can't see the
Yeah.
graph or aren't on the YouTube, the inflation rate is well below the appreciation rate. So in essence, what Shant is alluding to, correct me if I'm wrong, parking your money in real estate right now is absolutely positively the best investment. I think what do you think that it's outpacing gold or any other stock that's out there?
Gold 100%. I mean, gold is supposed to be going up right now, but it's not. You know, with inflation going up, gold is supposed to go up. It's not. I think gold is still a decent buy, but not like to put all your eggs in that basket. I think you should have gold, not you, just in general. People, I think it's a good thing. But real estate over time, you're just going to outpace inflation, right? So stock market, you're going to get 7 to 10% return. Yes, right now real estate is at 28%. And this is probably across the country. It's pretty similar, especially in your area. It's probably even worse as far as like appreciation. So it's like, what can I put my money? Like, yes, can the market crash? Of course. But is it going to go 30% down? And if it does, is it going to happen overnight? Is it going to take a year, 2 years, gradually go down? But then that's going to get it down to a balanced market. So how long do you think it's going to take to go from 30% in appreciation all the way to zero and then negative to actually crash?
I don't think it will.
I don't see it happening when there's no homes and builders can't build.
Builders are charging a arm and a leg right now to do anything.
Yeah.
But I still think that we're going to be okay. And in terms of the investment, I think that you still should be okay. Even if you bought now at an appreciated rate, I feel like they're just going to stay consistent. Nobody's going to say, like, all right, let me sell for 40, 50K below what I was asking for this year, next year. I don't think that that's going to happen. And if it does, I think that it would probably rebound back a year after. I think that that would be due to a market crash,
Yeah,
and
and
you just hold.
this is the thing I tell people: if you're worried about a market crash, right, which is you should be worried, right? Everyone should be worried. You should be looking at trends. Um, are you going to live in it for over 5 years? Are you going to own it for over 5 years? If you're going to own it for over 5 years, it's a decent. If you're like, hey, it could be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year thing. It's risky. Secondly, can you afford the payment? If you're going super high, if you're stretching yourself, I would not stretch yourself it's kind of tight, but I think I can make it work. It's not what you want to do in an inflated market. Just my
I'm
two.
going through something like that right now. They're telling me that I could afford much more than I want to right now, and I don't know. I don't know what the correct course of action would be. Say, for example, this is a very, very common thing to do in Massachusetts. It's getting very, very difficult to do it because people keep on doing it and buying up what's available is buying multifamily units, 2 or 3 family units, and renting them out. Say, for example, we go through another fucking shit show and your mortgage is, $5,000 a month, your tenant isn't coming up with rent and
You're
business is kind of bad, you know, they're not expected to pay rent given whatever law was passed in Massachusetts. However, the the mortgage company is still going to want their
yes.
thing. Yeah, I realize they gave like relief or some sort of bullshit like that, but it's not
No.
like all right, when
And,
this shit ends, I'm still on the hook for fucking however many thousands of dollars that you're
yeah, and
backdated.
it's still better than renting, in my opinion. It just is. But unfortunately, a lot of people are going to have no choice but to rent.
Yeah, some people just don't have the benefit of having stable enough income. And I
So,
noticed that the biggest one was not just the income, but having the down payment handy. Like they live paycheck to paycheck, but manage to pay 3K or whatever in Boston, at least 3K in rent and all this fucking takeout, and
and then
can't
it's what if
save.
something goes wrong with your house? I'm sure you've experienced it the past 2 years.
Very, very minimal. We've been lucky that they've been very, very minor expenses. We had to buy a new fridge. We had to buy a new washer. I can't remember, some other stuff happened that we needed to call. But anyway, long story short, um, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like the market is as bad here in Boston. Let me explain why I say that. We bought our house for about four. We bought our condo for about 440,000.
Yeah. And you
And
guys, it was rough when you guys were looking, right? It was,
yeah, market wasn't saturated with too many options. And the Zillow's estimate on the place is like 500,000 right now, and similar houses are selling for right around, similar condos, literally in the same community, are selling for about 500,000.
that's
So
not
it
bad,
only really appreciated about 10%.
which is not bad. Um,
Then again, it is a condo. I realize that single family and 2 family houses are a lot different than condos, but 10% is not that much given Boston in 2 years with all this shit happening. I don't know. It's just something's weird. Something's off with Boston. Like they were just so high to begin with that it didn't
yeah.
skyrocket.
Because we were low, right? And what happened is we were super low, and people
Tesla
from,
moved in. No,
yeah,
Tesla
people,
didn't move
no,
in.
no,
Sorry,
yeah,
they went to Texas.
yeah.
Who came? Who came to Arizona? I can't remember.
Not a huge, like a lot of like secondary, right, companies, but you guys were already high, right? So like you go another 30% is gonna crush everyone. Like if your house went from 40 to 600, 440 to 600. That's fucking tough, man.
Yeah, who's paying 600,000 for this place? It's like what?
Yeah. But here, what happened was you people from Boston, people from California, people from Seattle, people from Chicago, where the houses are a million, like single family, million, this, that, and it's getting more expensive there. We're like, hey, we could just go to Arizona for 400, 500,000. And then 400 became 450, 450 became five, still affordable for someone in California. Five became six became right now in North Scottsdale, where I sold a house 2 years ago for 450. You can't get anything under 800. That's like decent.
That's unreal, man. That is
It
unreal.
doubled.
But you're saying that Scott that Arizona's fucked because you guys have way more realtors
Yeah.
uh, per house than we do here.
Yeah. So we have 55,000 real estate agents, right? Last year, there was 110,000 homes sold.
That's absurd.
Like two per agent, if you think about it.
That is absurd. I wonder how many real estate agents actually sold houses last year.
Not many. So I sold, and I didn't sell a lot, right? I sold 20, okay, 20 homes.
That's a lot of homes.
Trends. So I was in the top, I'm trying to find it, but I was in the top 6% of realtors in the state.
Congratulations.
Wait, was it 6%? I'm trying to find it. Hang on.
That is amazing, man. Wow. Fucking show off. That's amazing. I'm kidding. No, that's really fantastic, man. At least one of us did something good this past year.
Yeah.
So the question that I have is though, what's your outlook like for Arizona? Do you want to move to like Texas? Is Austin the next Arizona?
No, Austin is too, like, it's already blown up. Austin is done.
Austin's amazing, man. I'm going there again
Yeah.
this month.
Come by for a coffee. Swing by.
I'll try. I'll make sure the bus stops there before I go to Austin. That's awesome.
So Arizona, so like I said, we have 100,000 usually homes sell a year. And right now we have 4,800 homes on the market, 4,800, 4,000.
You're not selling 20 homes this year. I don't think so.
Yeah. So what happens is Arizona's projected to get about 90,000 new people moving here every year.
Do you think that they're building more apartments and condo buildings than, yeah, it's going to be
but rentals.
Do you guys have many multi-unit buildings?
No, it's not as, so right now we have about 90 multi-units for sale. And they're all shit.
It's pathetic, man. I guess the business that you want to be in is buying a piece of land and developing on it, man. That would, I think, be key.
Yeah, land is the hottest commodity right now in Arizona. You can't find land in the inner. So I'm trying to find I wanted to find a nice piece of land because we want to build a house or something, like a nice area. Can't find it for under 500,000. It's just
a land.
Dirt. Yeah, the dirt.
Yeah. We just need pipes underneath. That's all. We just need some fucking running water. That's all. Anyway, so
yeah. Long story short, my outlook is it's going to be a rough few years for us realtors and buyers, and not sellers, though.
I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure exactly how rough it's going to be. I feel like every time something happens, like something corrects, like the automotive industry thought this was going to be a disaster, which it is. It was a disaster, but it turned out to be their most profitable couple of years. Like they thought it was going to be.
Did it get better? or is it still rough to find anything?
The situation is really bad right now. It's very, very bad.
Worse?
It's almost devastating to a couple brands like Volkswagen, Audi right now. You do not want to be a Volkswagen dealer. They don't have any cars. And on top of that, they produce a lot of their cars in the area in which the conflict is currently taking place.
Oh.
So it's like double, triple bad. And they had a boat that got burnt carrying 4,000 Volkswagens, Audis, and Porsches. Bro, these dealers in the Northeast aren't going to have cars for like a couple months. Like,
Dude,
the car market is fucked.
when we were looking for Betty's car, we got the Volvo. At the time, Volvo was like, "Oh, we're doing all right." Like they're like the guy said he's like within the next month, he's like Volvo's dead. He's like, we're not going to have anything. He's like, we were good during the pandemic, like when everyone was scrambling. He said there was, the P word.
Yeah.
He said they were good, but he said, and this was when Betty got it. He's like, next month we are going to be done. Like we're not going to have. And this after we bought it and we were talking. It's not like he was trying to sell me. It was like it was over already. So it's like I went back.
Imagine how much more the car would have costed now versus then.
So we would go to car dealerships like Land Rover. Right? I went to Land Rover. Nice guy was there. They had one car in a big showroom. The whole showroom was a huge showroom, Land Rover. They had one car. And then it's
like the one girl in the group that like everybody wants to bang because it's the only girl.
Yeah. And then I'm like, hey man, like we're looking for the Land Rover, I don't know which one it was. And I'm like, can you do you have? He's like, no, we don't have anything. He's like, I was like, what do you like? You just have like something.
You just have that car.
He's like, yeah. He's like, I have one. He's like, it's mine. It's like a 2018. You want to check it out? I was like, no, I want like that. I mean, I respect it. He has to show something, but we went to so many different and they had nothing.
Yeah, bro. It's a lot of dealerships now, I shouldn't say dealers, but a lot of manufacturers now are switching. Land Rover, Jaguar, they're all switching over to an ordering system where they're not going to keep inventory. They're going to keep cars that, are specifically for test drives. You go in, you order the car, you wait 2 months, and they are fulfilling orders pretty much just like that. And I think that that's going to continue like that very, very soon. This way they cut their overhead, they cut their rent, they cut their all this space that they don't need. And
wow,
this is the way that it's probably going to work. Question for you. A while back,
I have another list. Whenever you're done, I do have another list I want to show you about cars, but go ahead.
The question that I had was going back to that guy on Insta or whatever. He was saying that it's a great time to buy and it's also a great time to sell. Mm-hmm. Just based off of if let's say you're a consumer and you heard that and you were considering working with him and you ask another friend what they think and you told them that you saw this guy saying that, how quickly do you think that you would automatically now associate this person as being a sleazebag once they explain to you that it's a really terrible time to be buying?
So, yeah, I would think he's a sorry, I just have this list. Do you know what was the number one car sales company last year?
Toyota.
Wow, you know your stuff.
Any other questions?
So top 5 was Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Honda, and Nissan. But this list is bullshit. They didn't put Tesla on there. Tesla should have been number 5. Why does these lists hate Tesla?
Tesla, was Tesla top 5? I don't think it was. I know that they were top 5 luxury.
No,
I think they hit number 3 or 4.
Nissan was number 5 at 919,000 cars sold. Tesla last year sold 920,000 cars, but they're not even on the list. The whole list, they're not on it. They're not even top 20. So that's why it's a little Yeah, sorry. Just wanted to throw. If people were wondering, that's one list that I saw. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, you were right about Toyota. So
Yeah,
here's
interesting
my.
fact about Toyota. They took so GM has had that title for like 80 years. And
Really?
Toyota finally took that title away from them. Yeah. The highest selling vehicle though is the Ford F-150. But the
Hmm.
highest selling brand has
Yeah.
been GM for like 85 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good facts. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
GM will be back next year.
Yeah.
GM's amazing. GM's an amazing company. They do a lot, and Ford as well. But anyway, long story short, the question that I have for you,
Ooh, they were number
point of this
11. Shit, they were number 11 this year.
the whole point of this podcast was going back. I get a little bit irritated. Obviously, I get irritated when girls put up pictures, or even guys, when guys put up pictures that don't even look like them or don't represent who they are. Like if a guy put up pictures of a car that's not even his, him leaning against it, that's not an accurate representation of him. But it's acceptable to a degree. It's almost like listen, like everybody's doing it, everybody's trying to portray an image, but it's so much worse when you're marketing your services or your business and it's not anywhere close. It's not anywhere near as accurate as it should be. And
Hmm.
it's nowadays it's become like the norm. And I feel like business in general, how people are conducting business, how people are marketing themselves as
Yeah.
entrepreneurs or realtors or businessmen, I feel like we're living in a completely different era. I feel like people are living just for the sale. They're literally marketing themselves for just the sale and not even thinking about doing future business with anybody. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's just the sale plus like just the sale, comma, um, trying to look the part of something they're not. Okay. I'm sure I've probably been guilty of it when I first started, right? Trying to look more successful than I was. Now I don't even post a lot of my home sales. Like, I don't post them all the time. Um, but in the sense of that person that said, it's a great time to sell and it's a great time to buy, seems like a contradiction, right? So it just seems like you're just trying to get whatever person to use you for your services or sell. Now, if that person really, I think, comes across better and really cares, I think would say, hey, it's a great time to sell. Market's appreciating 28%, but it's also a good time to buy because, hey, rents are appreciating, right? You're still gaining appreciation as far as like if the market does crash, you're still here. If you explain it rather than, to me, that's someone that doesn't know their stuff, basically. And they're just trying to sell from what they saw from someone else. And they think, oh, I'm going to use this to sell someone instead of like being a knowledgeable person. Like you knew the number one car brand, you knew it was GMC, you knew last year that like, your stuff. I look at data like that, the house sales, like the charts I was showing, I research that shit all the time.
Why do you do it, Shad? Do you have a worry in you that's almost like people are relying on me to have accurate information, or is it just like a curiosity thing? I don't give a fuck that Toyota sold more cars than GM. Right
Yeah.
now, all this information for me is
You
it's temporary information.
yeah. You're not going to know like in 10 years, hey, in 2022, Toyota was the number one. You're not going to
Yeah.
remember that.
Like even
So
Toyota downplayed the statistic. They're like, this isn't sustainable. Like, like we're not going to sell as many fucking Toyotas as we did this year versus GM, and GM doesn't have any cars. So my whole thing is like, do you need to know this information out of like a fear of being an imposter, like not being who you are?
So I think so. I had this conversation today with my mentor, right? My coach mentor. And he said with high level agents, he was going over scripting and practicing, right? On when someone says, oh, what's going on in the market? And he's like, if your response is, oh, the market is hot, you should kill yourself, right? If your only response and the only thing you could come up with is it's hot, like you don't belong, like you don't deserve to be a real estate agent because we're supposed to be professionals. We're supposed to know our craft, right? So you asked me how's the market, and I gave you some insight, not like, hey, Adi, bro, it's hot, man. Get in.
Yeah, you broke it down to me on a very very granular level, how much they appreciated inflation, some other bullshit that I didn't actually completely understand, but like we're getting there. Um, very no, it's very very impressive. You had those PowerPoint presentations ready on tap. It was just ready to go, and that wasn't something that
You
I
even
think you were
plan?
ready for. Yeah.
No.
Um.
But
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
as a professional, now if you're trying to be a professional in an industry, if you're selling a service, if you're selling a product, if you're selling something to people that trust you, so people on your social media trust you, I think you have to know your stuff. You have to be knowledgeable. You're not going to know everything. I could ask you some stuff about the food industry or car industry. You're probably going to know. There's a good chance.
Well, more than that, you know what's also for me has always been um, it's always been making sure that I'm portraying my product as accurately as possible. Do you know, Shant? I won't plate our dinner plates in anything else except for how it's actually packaged. I don't put it for when I put anything on social media. I don't package the dinner plates in anything else. I don't plate it in anything else except for how it's supposed to be given to you out of fear that it'll look
Mm.
different than what I actually put up. Do you understand how conscious I am of making sure everything is consistent?
Yeah, because like
I
you go to
get
McDonald's, you see this thing, you get there, it's not that, right?
and I despise that. I can't stand that. I find it I find it upsetting when I see things on YouTube about how photographers and how like even McDonald's will do things in a way to make their product look better in terms of either using fake food or putting coloring or artificially brightening and adjusting saturation levels. Let's be honest here. I'll be brutally honest. Yes, here and there, I'll tweak the settings of the
The
camera,
filter. Okay, the camera.
the filters and whatnot. I'll not use a filter. I will adjust it so that I get a little bit more sharp.
Yeah.
And in case that there's any sort of inconsistencies in the shadows and anything like that, I'll adjust it. But in no way am I adding extra redness
Mm-hmm.
or um, making things a slightly different color to increase sort of saturation to the color of maybe beef or
Yeah, to make it
chicken
like, yeah.
pop
So
out. I
yeah,
can't stand that shit.
and the other part, and I don't know, I have not seen your menu, obviously, because if I ever go there, you just bring out the food. So I've never really seen your menu, but I hate when you go somewhere, all natural chicken. The fuck does that mean?
I'm still having trouble figuring that out too because I'll go to like
So you don't put that.
I'm trying to think.
I don't. Let me
No,
pull it. No, but what I'm
no,
saying
no.
is that to me is deception.
Why do you consider that deception?
What does
All
that mean?
natural
All
chicken.
natural chicken. Let me see.
Do you know how I take that translation when I go to like the supermarket to buy chicken? I
Uh-huh.
take it as like okay, they use antibiotic or hormone free chicken, which to me doesn't really mean much.
Okay, you don't have that on your menu. All natural chicken.
Yeah, no, no, because what the fuck does that even mean?
You
You're
put
just
your
adding extra.
description marinated and char grilled chicken, which is the exact description.
Yeah. Um. So the thing is I at first I used a picture of a product that wasn't even ours on our original menu.
Mm.
This was back in 2012, and we didn't even actually have anything. We didn't start do. We printed our menus before I even had the store open. And people were getting a little bit upset that the plates and the product didn't even look like anything that was on the menu. And I noticed that not just me, but a lot of pizza shops were using stock imagery of chicken tenders, pizza, all this stuff, and it was driving me nuts. And we bought so many menus that I couldn't just say, okay, toss the menus. I got the actual pictures. Now, for the longest time, it drove me nuts looking at that fucking menu because people would take it, open it up. Oh, give me this. What's this? And I'm like, fuck me. We can't even do that because we don't have that. So ever since then, I've been just traumatized by putting a picture or using a picture of an example of a thing that I cannot reproduce. I don't like putting up special stuff on my Instagram to try and lure you into my restaurant and that thing doesn't even exist on our menu. So I find it very, very important more than you. Like if you're putting filters on yourself, I guess that's okay, but don't do that shit on your product or your services. Why? Because not only will you lose future business with that person, quite possibly, not only will they tell their friends not to do business with you because you're not doing anything remotely close to what you're offering, they may actually put a review online of what you're doing and completely shatter your business.
Mm-hmm.
This is something to be scared. This is actually something to be scared of, especially for those that are in the restaurant business, especially right now, given the fact that all these restaurants are shutting down.
It's a scary business to be in, man. And it's like your room for error is very small. And the problem is you deal with a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. Like me, so I dealt with 20 people last year to try to get a review from. How many people do you think you dealt with last year?
Bro, we got left a review by somebody who got pissed off that my dad wasn't wearing a mask. My dad hasn't been wearing a mask for 5 months now. And I can't tell you how many bad reviews we avoided, but that one bad review is at the top of our Yelp page. So it doesn't matter how many you dealt with, it matters how many people reacted to it and
Yeah, that's what I'm
where
saying.
they took to.
Yeah, it's just more of an like the more
It
people you
is.
probably
It's
had
more
two.
opportunities to
Yeah.
get a
How many
bad
people you
review.
think? How many people you think you did have come? You serve? Do you guys know that number?
I know, I definitely know that number. Me personally, I deal with anywhere between like 5 to 10 people a day, easily. My dad, maybe 20, 25.
Is that
Depends.
So was that 30 on average people a
Yeah,
day come through?
not including delivery drivers, because now we see more delivery drivers than we do people. But
And then one bad delivery driver having a bad day, 300. So, wow. Is this 15,000 people?
possibly, yeah.
And I went low. I went conservative.
I don't know.
Wow.
I honestly don't know. I deal with a lot of people. Um, so
Yeah. Also on social media, let's say you portray social media about your restaurant a certain way, right? Let's say you portray, and we've talked about this last episode, I think, where you're not this um, ambiance place that you're going to come and uh, like it's going to be a vibe, right? Like a sick place to hang out. But if you started posting stuff like that, right? And then people came, they're going to be like, this is not,
I
because
got
you could angle it, you could make things look good. So I know these
yeah.
people who have a restaurant out here, right? And they have a restaurant, they have a really cool accent wall. Okay.
Fucking can't stand that, man. They got
So
like an LED or a neon light or whatever, and
with
it's
the
just
yeah. And it's like people like they post so many cool pictures with the food there, and then like they get people to stand in front of it, picture. I've been to it a couple times. You go to the restaurant, it's a small place. You can't really sit, but it makes it seem like it's a vibe. So it pisses you off.
yeah, it's not cool. See that place? Whoever the people that run that place are excellent at marketing for right now and suck at marketing for later. My whole thing, and I agree with the whole Gary V concept, I'm in it for the long game. And the way that I look at business, I look at every single person as an opportunity to gain a lifelong customer. You
Mm.
don't look at I don't look at a customer and try to get through the interaction as quickly as possible. I don't do that. I find that the more and more people realize that you genuinely want them to leave happy, the more that they feel compelled to send people your way. This is especially clutch if you work in a business that you only have 20 sales a year. Me, it's a little bit different because I'm dealing with a lot higher volume with a lot lower return.
Mm.
However, I have an opportunity every single day. So those 20 people that I deal with, and I have to find the right balance. This is another thing. Between kissing somebody's ass and being a complete dickhead, because my natural baseline is a little bit of a dick.
Yeah.
That's but then if we're doing business, it's not that I turn into a kiss ass because I'm trying to sell you something. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, and I mean this like as much as I can possibly drive home. I genuinely get happy that somebody chose to give me an opportunity to earn their business and their trust, especially when it comes to a higher ticket order. Like they chose me for their Friday night dinner gathering for their family. So now, instead of going into it and being a dick and just trying to get through it as quickly as possible, appreciate the fact that they gave you an opportunity. They chose you. They gave you an opportunity to make this even now like a monthly thing. That's how I look at every single interaction, and that's what draws me out of my baseline dickheadishness. I feel like if you have it in you to constantly be a dick, or you're constantly a kiss ass trying to get the deal done, it works against you to do these things. Being thinking that don't be too much of a nice guy, or going the opposite way. No, we got to treat him really, really well. Works against you in either of these situations because people very, very much appreciate when somebody in business is being genuine with them. That's what
Yeah.
I've noticed. They love when you're genuine. However, they do not love when you have a huge attitude. That won't get you very far in business, no matter what you think, no matter what Instagram. I think you can agree on this. No matter what, how you think, like being Dan Bilzerian or Gary V is not going to work for 99% of people trying to make it in actual real life.
Yeah, because they're not, you don't see how they are with their customers.
How are you with your customer? What do you like? I know that we've discussed this in the past before, where me and you both, we have a little bit of an issue. We have some nice guy issues, and that's come from the
Yeah.
fact that we don't want to let anybody down.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because at first I used to kind of just try to get through it, right? The sale, right? Now I'm a little bit more, well, not a little bit, I'm really appreciative. Like you said, they're trusting me for this is their largest purchase they're probably ever going to make, purchase or sale, right? Like just sold a client's home, right? They were netting $375,000 in their pocket. Okay. I'm responsible for that. And they're trusting me with that. Right. So it's like, I have to be like super grateful. Like, wow, like you really wanted to use me when there's so many options. How many options are there? 55,000 of them.
Tons, tons. What do you do? What is the way that you are ensuring that you're not rubbing them the wrong way, either direction, either
So
direction?
what I wasn't doing, and I've changed this since, is before, after the sale, I just wasn't really communicative anymore. Like it was kind of over, right? Our relationship was over. So like your realtor after the sale, I don't know what he does with he, but I don't want to be the person who just sends them like, oh, hey, how's the house going? Do you have anyone else that wants to buy or sell, or like, and send them stuff with my picture on it, right? I don't want to do that. So now what I'm doing is like sell client a home, whatever. Hey man, let's go out to a nice steakhouse, dude. Like, let's enjoy it. Like, let's go celebrate, right?
It's awesome.
Stuff like that, right? Like something that's a little bit more meaningful. Like, hey, I've been paying attention to what you've talked about, right? My clients right now, I sold them the house. They're moving to Ohio. So what am I going to get them, right? Am I going to get them a nice fucking gift basket so they could take with them, right? That's stupid. So I got them like a gift card to a really nice, an expensive steakhouse in where they live. I found out where they're going to move to, looked up some nice restaurants, got a gift card, and was like, hey, when you guys move, you have a long move, big move, go have some dinner, like a nice place,
That's
stuff
so
like that.
thoughtful. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do you actually go out with clients to
I'm
like
starting to now.
steakhouse, or is
Yeah.
most people do
So
you
I started this first with my one client I started with. He's an actual, he lives in Glendale, California. He's an actor in LA. He's been in
wow.
some decent shows, like some pretty big shows. And we closed on a house out here, an investment property. And I was like, let's go out to a nice steakhouse. And he's like, hey, but like, my friend is out here. Like he was helping him. I was like, yeah, let's go, man. Like, let's go out, man. And we had a really nice night, man. Like we just hung out, ate, drank. It was just fun, man. Now he calls me like every month just to like check in. He checks in with me.
That's amazing. That
Yeah,
is
like
awesome.
just an
What's the
awesome guy.
likelihood? Do you think that he'll actually, if he has anybody, what's the likelihood? Do you think he'll refer somebody to you? Do you think it's like
He
in like
calls
the 90%?
every month. He calls me. He's like, hey, I have a friend wants to get an investment property. He calls. He's like, hang on, I'm gonna put you through. Calls that other person, sinks us in, like just loves, and he's been around Armenians. He's not Armenian himself, but like he knows, he lives in Glendale, so he appreciates how we operate.
So this this new wave of online entrepreneurs, online online personalities, people trying to sell their courses and whatnot. It's bugging me. It's bugging me a lot because a lot of people just assume that if they can portray an image, get a few likes, this is going to be enough. And it's a very easy to make a quick buck right now. I've
So,
learned.
so I know this social media marketing specialist on social media for realtors. She was a realtor. She couldn't do it, but she started posting on social media a lot and successful and this and that. Now she's a social media coach.
Why do you think she couldn't make it in real estate?
Because it's hard.
Because she couldn't market herself? The fuck is she doing wrong? I don't get it.
It's so real estate or any business. Okay. Why do people get into business? For their freedom, right? Because I'm my own boss and I could come and go as I please. That's the number one reason people get into business. And the number one reason people fail out of business, I think, is because they think they're free. You are not free, my friend. Not yet, at least.
Never. I don't think ever. You're
Am I
not going to
wrong?
be able. Bro, you're dreaming. I think all
But
these people, they're dreaming. They're thinking that they're going to be like Elon Musk. Do you know how many hours a day Elon Musk works? People think that he's on top of the. Bro, I don't know if he even has any time to enjoy his money.
he doesn't. I read his, if you read his book, he's almost died like twice from just like stress, like legit. All right. And he works harder than anyone you'll probably ever meet.
I can imagine. I can
He used to
imagine, dude.
sleep at the office.
100%. Why waste time going home? What the fuck? Bro, I find it, this is the reason why I'm not crazy about Tesla. We know this. I have my reasons. But I fucking love Elon Musk. Like it's just raw. It's just super raw. He's like the Gary V that I actually wanted to like. But he doesn't say anything. Like he doesn't,
Yeah, you
you know
never
what I
hear
mean?
him like, I mean, he talks a lot of shit on Twitter, but think about it. What car brand has a face?
Not now. Everybody's hiding. Nobody has a face anymore. The
But
only other face that I know is that guy who fucking fled Japan and went to Lebanon. Carlos,
I
the head of
see,
Nissan.
I don't even know who that is. But I bet you everyone knows who Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
And he is one
He's-
of the hardest working guys. And it is not, dude, think about this. I was talking to an agent today because he's kind of struggling. I'm not sure. He's new. And every year you start the rest, January 1st, your salary is zero, right?
yeah. I mean, technically, no, but I have an expectation of what I'm going to get paid. But
Yeah.
you don't do the work.
If someone doesn't come in, you're not, you don't have the income you had last year. You have to keep it like you have to still, you can't just go to work, you're getting your paycheck. And it's a very scary thing when you're running your own business. And I think a lot of people aren't taking it seriously. And I think it's the ones who are trying to, and I'm not trying to hate, we're not trying to discredit people, but it's a lot of people are acting like, oh, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm on the private jet, I'm doing this. got the Ferrari that I took a picture of in front of the Americana Mall.
Yeah, it happens a lot more in LA. Anyway, the whole thing the whole thing that I wanted to get across was more and more it's becoming more and more normal to make a quick buck. People have started to normalize it as much as they've normalized girls and guys. Whatever, I don't know which guy does this, but more and more they've started to normalize it as much as putting a filter on themselves has become normal. And it's something that's just been irritating me. And I feel like, although it may feel weird to portray your business as the business that it actually is, in the long run, it will actually get you further than trying to glorify it for right now. Being the realtor that you actually are, as opposed to dressing yourself up and putting the AirPods in and doing all that shit for right now, and then begging for the sale 3 months later, it's going to send the message that you were a fraud from the beginning. So it's just some thoughts I've been having, some observations, how I want to continue to present myself. I'm not trying to glorify myself. I'm not wearing a chef jacket, which I don't know. I might start doing that. Depends. I'm not going to have sous chefs walking around in my videos handing me the shawarma. Just going to be my down to earth self.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to win, like you said, long run. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're running out of time. So, was there any other thoughts you had?
No. The very, very last thought that I had. Sean sent me a video yesterday of his son Leo, the lion, knocking down some kid's hard earned
Big kid too.
bigger kid, much substantially bigger than Leo. Leo walks up to his building blocks that he had assembled and just looked at him in the face and just knocked it all down. Went away in the other direction. And it really just put a metaphor on my, like, what I want my life to be like from now on. I just want to fucking knock down people's bullshit the way that Leo did yesterday.
The kid has some balls on him, man. And it's interesting to watch. I have to apologize a lot to parents while I'm watching him play. I have to always say, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. He punched your kid in the face. He didn't mean it. So he loves to go up and down a slide, right? That's his thing. He's at the park. He goes down the slide. He runs right back up, down the slide. And he doesn't like to wait. He sprints up and down, up and down. He'll do it until you tell him, like, you take him away. And he doesn't it's just speed is like, it feels like he has so many opportunities. He has to get it in before we shut him down. So he just keeps going and going and going, right? Yesterday or Sunday, we were at the park and he's running up. A line starts forming behind us in the slide.
Lion.
There's this parent. The kid is bigger than Leo. And the mom, I'm standing down at the bottom of the slide. The mom's next to me. She's like, hey, Charlie, like, you got this. Like, come down. He's like, kind of, because it's a tall slide. And this kid's bigger than Leo and he's scared. Leo just doesn't give a shit. And he's holding on to like the top of the bars. And he's like, okay, like he's kind of scared. He's looking. All I see is Leo's head pop up from under his arm. Yeah. He pushes him aside. The mom's like, oh, Charlie, it's okay. Yeah, just let him go first, and Leo just goes.
Love that little shit.
I'm like, sorry. And the mom's like, Charlie, it's okay, Charlie. Let him go first.
Yeah.
Leo is like, whether you let me or not, I'm going.
Yeah. Okay. Like fucking pushing
he
this douchebag out of the way regardless. But yeah,
he
sure. Let him
pushed
go.
him. He comes down and he's running back. He smiles at me too while he's running, like he knows what he did. It's like,
I love that little
and
shit,
he just
man.
kept going. He just, and then a lot of the kids just got away from the slide. They're like, okay, we're not dealing with this kid, man. He's
Yeah,
just not
fucking
stopping.
terrorist.
Yeah.
Fuck, that said the T word. Shit.
He's an
Love that
interesting
guy.
character, man. Can't wait till you guys come out, see him
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I can't wait either. We'll come up for the next Ganuk.
It might be in California.
Oh wow. Nice. Nice.
Would that
That'd
be
actually be
easier
really
for
good.
you guys?
Well, maybe we could do a double Ganuk with some of the other cousins.
Just throw them
Like
all.
back to back, you know? Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today. You learned about some car sales, some real estate sales, social media.
Yeah. Some fraud sales. Fucking just him. I mean
And
anyway.
remember, just like my son, if you want something, you just go get it. You just
Yeah.
do it. You don't ask for permission.
Push that bitch ass Charlie aside.
Charlie.
Fucking Chuck. Get the fuck out of here.
Charlie Charlie's gonna have some issues. Go.
Yeah. We'll see Charlie on Sunday. We'll see
Yeah.
Charlie on Sunday. See if he fucking managed to get down the slide okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
All right, everyone. Good night.